Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to our home in beautiful Lakeway, Texas. I'm Jan Goss-Gibson, speaker, author, and executive trainer, and we are here having a little fireside chat. I'm here with my best friend in the world, Camille Walker. She's an amazing attorney. She's an executive trainer, and she writes amazing programs that bring transformation to your life. Camille, welcome. We're here for part 2 of the Prosperity Connection.
Yes, we are, Jan, and we are just so excited again to get started with you with part 2 of the Prosperity Connection. This is where it really gets interesting as we begin to look today at the creation process. Creation really is a process, isn't it, Jan?
It is, and creation is where we start. What I want you to think about right now is, where is your life today? Do you like where you are today? Are there some parts of your life that you like, and there are other parts that you're thinking, not so much? I really don't like those parts of my life. That's how Camille and I started. We had to take an honest inventory about what our lives looked like, what our prosperity looked like in our lives, and then we had to take responsibility that where our lives are today is what we have created. And you know, Camille, I didn't like that part. However, I did discover that if I created where my life is now, then Camille, I have the power to create something different.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is. So it all begins with creation.
It does. It all begins with creation. But first, before we start individually looking at creation, we have to go way back. Let's go back to the beginning. That in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. You remember that? That's Genesis 1. We have to go way, way back. And as we look at that process, God's process is what we will model. So in the beginning, if you will look at those first few verses, what he did was really, really key to our ability to create in our own life. What he did was, he didn't just randomly create like flowers and trees and put everything different places and just throw it out there, did he?
Like, I think I'll have that, and I think I'll do that, and maybe I'll change my mind. It wasn't a random process, was it?
It was not. It was very orderly and thought out. And so that's the number one thing we see with creation with God, is he thought it. He actually had an intent to create it.
A clear intent, wasn't it, Camille?
It was a clear intent, like that's a tree, right?
Let me think it through all the way to the end, right?
Right. And once he did, he spoke it. And when he spoke it, yes, he's God and it was powerful, but he expected it to happen, and it did. So when that tree came into existence and he decided it was going to be an apple tree, there were no oranges on the apple tree, right?
That's right. It was a very clear, intentional creation process.
And he created the entire world that way. And that is just the beauty of, think about the abundance. Like even with all kinds of flowers, the trees, the ants, the insects, think about it.
The fish, the birds. Think about creation. God could have just created one tree, Camille. He could have just created one kind of flower or one kind of fish. I'm a little bit obsessed with fish. Do you know how many fish there are in the sea? And there are some really strange looking fish, Camille.
There are.
I mean, God is he has quite an imagination, right?
Exactly.
So there's an abundance of everything. Right now in your life, there's an abundance of something. Some of you are saying, yes, I have an abundance of trouble right now. Well, first take responsibility for your part of creating that, and then know that you can create abundance in your life. There's plenty for everyone, Camille.
There's plenty. But you know what? Not only can you create, you can uncreate. You know what? Something's not working for you, uncreate it. You can start again. But let me just tell you more about his story. After he created the heavens and earth, and then he decided to put some human beings on the planet, he created each of us in his own image.
Stop. Hold on. What did you just say?
He created each of us, 7 billion of us, and still counting, in his own image and likeness. What that means is this: there is not one person on this planet that is like me. Absolutely. Even if I had a twin sister, and sometimes I think you are.
We are twins. You just can't tell.
Right. There's not one person like me created. And so that imagination of his is absolutely, it's wider than I can describe. But when he created us in his likeness, and we have the ability, we have the power,
wow,
to actually create as God creates. He created us to rule, and I call it, we rock.
Yes, we do rock.
We absolutely rock. You rock, I rock, Jan rocks. There's not a person on the planet that doesn't rock. And so when you think of how God created the heavens and earth, think about what you would like to create in your life.
You know, last time we shared with you that if you are willing to change your mind, you can change your life. And I'm asking you today to be willing to think in terms of abundance, to be willing to think in terms of that there's more than enough, to be willing to think in terms of, wow, I'm created in God's image. An image is like when you look in a mirror. That means you look just like him. I look just like him. Camille looks just like him. We're all created in his image, Camille. So the key for today that I want us to remember is that creation is a process. It's a process, Camille, of thoughts, clear intent, words spoken with authority and with confidence.
That's it. That is it in a nutshell. And you know what? I want to leave you with this. Nothing has to stay the same. You have the power to uncreate and create anything you desire in your life. So let's leave them with our
Thoughts for the day.
thoughts for the day.
You are good enough. You are smart enough. You are pretty enough. You are worthy of all good. This is Jan and Camille, and we are your Prosperity Connection.